Right, on to a new album. This album is going to be a total wing it album. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I have these papers. They're Sweet Paris by DoveCraft, and they're really, really pretty. I really love this sage green colour. Not my usual type of papers. I don't go for pinks at all. But this I really liked. It was really pretty. It had a polka dot paper in it, so I was going to love it. So those are the papers I'm going to be using. This is the 8x8 pack. I have a couple of those. And as a total departure from my usual style, I am going to have cream coloured base pages and not black at all. And all I've decided is the base pages here are going to be 8x8 and there is going to be 5 of them. So the album covers will be 8 1/4 high by 8 1/2 wide. So, and I've got 3mm chipboard over here, which I've already cut. I haven't actually cut the spine yet because I have to figure out how deep I want the spine. So I think I'm going to have 5 main pages. So I've got my scoreboard. It's not very well lit, I'm really sorry. So you probably can't see this very well, whereas than if it was on black. So I've cut the paper here down to 8 inches because that's going to be the depth of my pages, the height of my pages. And I've scored this paper at, this is going to be a long one, so I'm just going to say it's all in inches. So 1, 1 1/4, 1 3/4, 2 1/4, 2 1/2. So basically it's, I've left a 1 inch gap at the start, and then it's, you follow, you do your score line, you then need a 1/4 inch gap, 1/2 inch gap, 1/2 inch gap, 1/4 inch gap. That's your page hinge. And you need the gusset, and that's 1/2 inch. And then you do the same again, so it's 1/4 inch. That allows for the flexibility of the pages to turn without them sticking straight up in the air. So 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, that's your page hinge, 1/4 inch gusset. And you do that so that you've got these page bits, so the 1/4, the 1/2, the 1/2 and the 1/4, 5 times, because that fits nicely on the page. So it looks like I'll be having 5 pages. Now what I have to do is figure out 1/2 inch each side, plus the 1/2 inch each for the middle, and then figure out how wide my spine needs to be. So we have the 1/2 inch and the 1/2 inch, that's 1 inch. And then between each page we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So my spine needs to be at least 3 inches thick. So if I cut, oh, this could be actually quite good. The bit that I cut off the side of my, this is an A4 piece of chipboard, it's 3mm thick. The bit I cut off the side, I'm wondering, is actually just over 3 inches. So that's perfect. Got my 8 1/2 inch piece here, and what's left over will become my spine. So that's all I've got so far. Choice of papers, the hinge, which is obviously based on Kathy Alter King's hidden hinge system, and the chipboard that I'm using, and that's it so far. So what I shall do is, obviously, I'll put a strip of Tyvek across the back here, then I'll score it again and fold it and get it all ready to go in the album, put my covers together, and then I'll be back and decide what I'm going to do with these pages and these pretty papers. Okay, I thought I'd just show you this bit to make it easier to see the hinges. These are obviously going to be the pages, and the bits without the tape on are the gussets in between the pages. And I've cut my piece of Tyvek slightly less height than the paper, so I've just cut a bit off the top, and that's going to be on there. Okay, and I'm going to use glue as well as as the tape. So I'm going to do that. And oh, did I say this was 55 gram? It's 55 gram Tyvek. So because it's quite a thin one, so it's easier to sort of like get in between the folds. So there's that bit, and I shall then peel all my tape backing off and I'll get my glue on and stick this on. It's recording. Ah, okay, that's probably a good thing. Right, basically what I did is I placed the Tyvek on the back and re-scored it so that I can see on the Tyvek side where I'm going to put my tape to hold the page bits together. So I'm just going to find some tape that's wide enough for this 1.5 inch gap here, and try not to accidentally record something again. Okay, just say I'm actually going to use this, which is a duck tape, and it's for fixing and mounting, and it's perfect width, 38 mils. So I'm going to give this a go, and I'm going to place this, because it is nearest down the perfect size. So I'm going to give this a go. Just thought I'd let you know. Give it a go, see how it works. We should fold these one by one. Seems very sticky. Very, very sticky. Get that out of the way. Recording again? Oh. Just goes to prove I can talk to myself when I think it's not recording. Okay, and obviously I realise, oops, I could just put half width in, but I do like this extra strength. It seems to be really strong, it's really sticky, so this may be a good product for making these hinges. Of course, you may notice these have been folded already, I figure it's recording, might as well keep it recording. Show all the boring bits of making an album. Oh, that's my hubby home from work. This last one, then I can go and make him his dinner. Which would be a shock because I don't often make him dinner. Okay. Two, three. Let's get this folded over. Okay, measure how big my hinge needs to be. It needs to go from here to here, because that gives me the 1/2 inch on each side, which is 1, 2, 3 inches. So my spine will be just over 3 inches, which works out perfectly. So, I'm going to have to get this camera sorted out. It keeps on recording just for the fun of it. And of course I will, from, can't see it very well at all, there's a 1/4 inch score line here. Let's fold it, see if that makes it any more visible. And the pages will sit up to this score line. So from here I shall mitre each edge just slightly, but not this 1/4 inch gap here, because that will be on show and the pages will sit on top of that 1/4 inch gap. So I'll do that. I'll decide if I want to ink my edges, decide what paper I'm going to have, the strips in between, though I may leave that until after I decorate the album and see what strips I've got left over, which seems a more economical way of doing it. And then we'll start thinking about what pages I'm going to make. So really, really pretty papers, and not at all my usual style. So, and I'm using no black in this album, because even this, although it does look black, and there is some black on some of the embellishments that you can get for the kit, for the paper line, it's not a lot, and it's more dark grey and really dark browns. So that's what I should do instead. It's going to be really odd not using any black. Oh, and I found this. I've actually got a set of 3. They're porcelain china handles, knobs, and I have actually got the screw. I found them in a charity shop, so, or a thrift shop as they call them in America, I think. And so I'm just going to cut this down to about there so that it fits through, and I thought that would be lovely on the front. And then in my stash I found this green tassel, which I thought actually went really well with the paper line, and the pink one. So yes, I've been going through my stash. Not a lot of pink in there, but some. But that I just thought was so pretty, and I've got 3 of them. So if I want to make, if I have enough papers left over and I want to make a couple more albums, I can. Or if I want to make a box with something decorative on it, there's that. So there we go. Hinge done.